Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I am well and truly in the throes of my 70s era right now. If you saw the last video, I made these coasters. Well, this tray and coaster set was from Moulds and Shapes and we turned them into 70s inspired theme. I absolutely love the result of these. Now, I was watching Instagram and there's an account called Bramblia. I think they're based out of Australia. They use a beautiful eco pouring medium of their own. And in this video, they were using a colander, a strainer or a sieve, whatever you want to call it. And oh my goodness me, I had to try it. And I wrote on there, I'm going to try this. This looks incredible. I was so excited, but let me tell you a little story about how Jesmonite almost defeated me on this day. Now, this video was due out on Wednesday. And if you guys read my post on YouTube where I said, nothing has gone right. There will be no video. I don't know what's, it was a complete catastrophe. But let's take it back to the beginning and we'll start this video off as if we don't already know things are going to go drastically wrong. First and foremost, I'm using Jesmonite AC100 and it's thick, right? We all know where this is going, don't we? It is so thick compared to other eco pouring mediums. Now, I am not sponsored by Jesmonite. I do not work with Jesmonite, but I have used a lot of eco pouring mediums. The colors, oh my gosh, let me tell you, the colors I'm using in this video are all from Hemway Design Co. The best colors on the market and the range is extensive. So you will always find a color that you need to fit the scheme that you're going with. I will leave the link below, of course, for Hemway Design Co. I am linked with them. There is a code there for you guys. Now, Jesmonite AC100. Firstly, I'm using this colander. I bought it specifically for this video from Dunelm. I immediately noticed as soon as I started pouring the Jesmonite down in, it's not going through these holes. Like, it is so thick at this point. Two things. It was very, very hot on this day. And if anyone here has ever worked with Jesmonite AC100, you will know that it's very temperature reliant. It's a very temperamental product depending on the weather, right? If it's super, super cold, it will be runnier. If it's really hot, it will be thick, thick, thick. The other thing is, there's a possibility that my Jesmonite AC100 has passed its best date. Now, I've lived in this house for a year and a half. Jesmonite has a shelf life in container of a year. And I know full well I bought this Jesmonite when we moved in, right? So it's a year and a half at this point. I already noticed that the Jesmonite liquid was thicker than normal. And I was using the dregs from the bottom of the bottle. And I was thinking, we're in trouble here. It's not working. So it was a complete disaster. I scrapped that first one. This is me trying again. And I ended up lifting up the sieve to see if it would help with gravity. It didn't. This Jesmonite was not going through those holes at all. So I changed direction and decided to go with Jesmonite stripes. Now look at the thickness of this Jesmonite. This is not normal. This is not normal thickness for Jesmonite AC100. Yes, it's a thick pouring medium, but not this thick, not this thick. So at this point, I'm kind of half losing the will to continue. But I thought, no, if anything, we'll just have fun and see what happens. Of course, this was all filmed a week ago when it was 21 degrees and my craft room was like a sauna. So I was fully invested in this. I was fully dedicated. I was not gonna quit for nothing. I was gonna get something out of this. I was gonna make a video, right? So here I decided to just do stripes. I thought stripes will be easier because it's thick. What's the worst that could happen, right? It's gonna pour out, but it will be thick. And I decided to run a cotton bud, a Q-tip or a cotton bud through like this to give me some zigzag stripes, that real typical 70s swirly pattern. And then I decided, well, let's try Resin Crete. So Resin Crete from J Diction or any other eco pouring medium, right? You've got guys, my brain. You've got Apex out here. You've got Elechem out here. You've got Hobbycraft, I think, who go through Elechem. They're all much waterier. They're much, much runnier than Jesmonite AC100 because they're water. You use water with them. And they don't get clumpy like Jesmonite AC100. So I thought, let's try again. Let's just not quit. Okay? Now, I do work with J Diction. There is a code down in the description box for you. And immediately I was happier. I thought, yes, this is better. This is much more of a watery consistency. The mix ratio is 10:3. So, yeah, 100:30. Much waterier. This will definitely work. I will say one thing though, that the homeware design pigments, as amazing as they are, for me personally, I feel like they work so much better in Jesmonite AC100, and I feel like I've got to add a lot more pigment into the Resin Crete than I do into Jesmonite AC100 to get that deep pigmented colour. It was pouring through the colander like a dream. Did it look anything like the Bramblier Instagram post? No, it did not. Not at all. However, we have got a very cool, muddied 70s colour scheme going on. And I kind of like it. I poured the rest into that long tray, and this is where we're at. So this is around about 40 minutes later. It was time to demold. Now, first up, you can see the difference in pigmentation. The colour difference is unbelievable. So the Jesmonite really holds its colour. This is the result of the Jesmonite AC100 tray. Now, it's not a wow. It's not, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely not. I do like it though. It's giving 1970s t-shirt vibes, right? The kind of pattern you'd see on a 1970s skirt. It's not horrific. It's just not like, I'm not obsessed with it. Does that make sense? But I like the look of the fact that I ran a cotton bud through, because I'm looking at that thinking they kind of look like feathers at this point. I wonder what we could do further down the line to create Jesmonite feathers, right? A Jesmonite kind of feathery pattern. Now, next up, this was the Resin Crete poured through the sieve. Now, forgetting this tray needed to be demolded. This is the result, which makes sense, right? On the Bramblier video, they just used a flat, no lip, a flat mould. So the top is the surface of the tray, whereas this mould, it's not, right? Once you demold, there's nothing there, which makes sense. This one here was also a disaster, but it does give tie-dye vibes. Anyone else see the tie-dye vibes? I kind of like that. But out of these three, the Jesmonite AC100 definitely worked best. I decided to try again and do more of the stripy with the cotton bud, because I kind of liked it, and I thought, I wonder what would happen if we poured even more stripes. So instead of just 3 colours, we pour a series of 4, 5, 6 colours stripy, you know, next to each other like this. And if I work really fast, then the Jesmonite's not going to go off on me. And I was feeling pretty confident. So we went in again with the Homeware Design Co. colours. We used the citrine, and we used the green, and we used the autumn bark, and we used the bright orange. Again, all very, very 70s. The mess was real. Let me tell you guys. Let me tell you. Working with Jesmonite is so much messier than epoxy resin. Like, the mess is unbelievably more. And then it was thickening up. I was panicking. I was doing all of the things. And I have sped this section up for you because, again, real time was long. But you can see here, it's only been a couple of minutes and it's already so thick. So again, I was getting annoyed. I was getting frustrated. And this was all last week, ready for Wednesday's video, right? And this one here, I'm just using what's left, and you can see how thick it is. It is honestly like thicker than a double cream consistency. It's like whipped cream at this point, like something you'd have on your scones if it was edible. But I persevered. I honestly don't know why I persevered. It's most unlike me. I am such a big quitter. It is unreal. Like, if something doesn't go my way, I will throw my dummy out of the pram and I will just quit. But I thought, no, Claire, don't be that person. Persevere. Now, the back of this is beautiful. I really like it. And I thought, this is surely going to give stunning results when we demold, because we know that doing it this way, like that first tray, is going to give a really super cool pattern. So I was optimistic, but no. Look at this. So this is the original bottom right. I kind of like it, the brown, orange, yellow. Really kind of like it now at this point, because that's the best result out of everything. The second one, it just looks like a hot mess. Like, I've got absolutely no words. This is why the video didn't come out, guys, because I was just like, no, I cannot make this the video. So we do end up with a really cool result. So please stick with me if you're still here. We do persevere and we do get what I'm looking for. So this one here, I have no words to describe this. This is like someone has fallen over in a muddy puddle and it's just awful. Absolute. Even my stripes aren't going the right way. Next up, I decided, it's clear either A, it's too hot for Jesmonite, or B, my Jesmonite is now past its best, right? So for me, I thought, how about I create stripes? Now, you can use silk screen or you can use squeezy bottles, but I knew I didn't have the time for squeezy bottles. I'm thinking t-shirts, right? I'm thinking these gorgeous 1970s, really typical stripy t-shirts. The rest of the t-shirt being like a plain cotton, and then just a selection of stripes across the chest. That's what we're going for now, because I thought if the Jesmonite is that thick, like seriously thick, I can use that to my advantage. Just do one colour at a time. One colour at a time. And I think that's where I was going wrong. I was making huge batches of Jesmonite. Again, this is all purchased myself, not sponsored. I buy my own Jesmonite AC100. So I was using a lot of product just to try and get something I even remotely liked. Realised even just a tiny amount of Jesmonite was way too much, so I grabbed another tray real quickly and I put 2 lines of masking tape. Now, my theory is I'm going to be able to create those real archetypal, stereotypical 70s t-shirt stripes by doing just a few lines of brown, orange, yellow, green, or whatever, and then the rest of the tray being natural Jesmonite in its rawest form, no colour added. That's going to give the t-shirt background. And also that for me made more sense, right? Because I'm not getting very long to play with my Jesmonite right now. Be that because it's hot or be that because it's out of date. I don't really know at this point. Lifting up the masking tape, I started to feel like this could work. I was gaining more confidence, thinking we might actually have something here that's worthy of a finished product in a video. And I was really impressed with the way I was getting these straight lines. There was a little bit of cleanup on a couple of the lines, but for the most part, for me, to the naked eye, they looked quite straight. They looked quite uniform, very much in keeping with that 1970s t-shirt stripe. And I was happy. I was really, really happy. It was time consuming, like I said, but I'd already wasted like a whole entire day trying to get something. So I figured, what's another couple of hours, right? So next up, we've done orange and yellow on this one. And then on the smaller tray, we didn't do all the colours, but lifting the masking tape off on this one, I did make quite a mess, and I was just like, come on, Claire, take your time, go slower. Pulling the masking tape towards the orange was much better, and I ended up doing a big cleanup job with some cotton buds. Now here you see me just running it all the way down to get straight edge as possible. And then I use a wet wipe to clean up the excess. Now, I'll be honest, I feel like I could have done this freehand with a squeezy bottle, but I didn't feel like I had the luxury of time to pour the Jesmonite into a squeezy bottle. And that is why I'm using masking tape. If we could get a silk screen that was just stripes, that would be the dream team. Again, really happy with the lines that were being created, although I did have to tidy up in areas because I wanted this to be as neat as possible. I really had a vision. I hope you can see my vision as well. Like just now, right now, we are ready to backfill these, right? The rest of the trays, just natural Jesmonite. I'm not even going to pretend that this did not really hurt my hands. Sadly, this put me out of action for a solid 2 days. Like all of this whisking of all of this super thick Jesmonite really made my hands not very good at all. And I was waking up with extra swollen, extra stiff hands. If you are new here and you're wondering why, it's because I did get, finally, after 3 years, I did get a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis, and this was not it. This did not help me at all. You feel really strong. Like I was feeling really strong and I was feeling really good when I was whisking it all. It was the next day that I suffered tremendously. But the beauty of using epoxy resin is that mixing it is bare minimum now because I use the machines. This is what we were looking like on demold. Now, first up, out of the gate, it was a mess. Like what looked like fairly straight lines turned out to not be very straight at all. But the concept is there. I feel like I nailed the visual brief, the visual concept, but not good enough. You know, it wasn't good enough for me personally. Now, at this point, I was back and forth with my patrons. Patrons, thank you so much for being there for me. I literally sent about 5 videos all in one day, like just saying, and a disaster, another disaster, another disaster. And then I sent them this and I was like, look, this is as good as it's going to get, but I need a way to bring it around and I need a plan. And that plan involved heading over to my Cricut design space. Now, honestly, I was in a mood, guys. I was in a mood. I didn't film it. But what I did do was cut a ton of vinyl strips on my Cricut design space to hide the absolute atrocity from these trays. And I love this tray. Like full on, marry me, you are the 70s t-shirt inspired tray that I was looking for in the first place. The irony that all I needed to do was pour plain Jesmonite and then go to my Cricut vinyl machine and just cut a load of Cricut vinyl strips. Now here's the thing, I didn't just cover up the stripes with Cricut vinyl. I have left some of the Jesmonite stripes. So the orange on that one is Jesmonite. And on this tray here, the orange and the mustard is still Jesmonite. What I tried to do was where the two colours were joining, where the two Jesmonite colours were joining, I tried to lay down a really thin strip of the vinyl just to blur the lines, I guess, right? So I really only needed vinyl. No fancy pouring techniques were working for me. The Jesmonite was just too thick, or it's out of date, it's just too hot. It was truly defeating me and my soul was crying. But the beauty of using vinyl on Jesmonite like this, like straight away I said to my husband, like, what era are these colors? And he was just like 70s. I was like, yay, then I win, right? I win. I've done it. If I were to do this again, I would not even bother trying Jesmonite color stripes. Okay, because honestly, being able to just cut stripes, you go into your Cricut design space, you go to shapes, you go to rectangle, you stretch that rectangle out as long and as thin as your mold needs and do different widths, and you've got yourself some vinyl Cricut stripes. So again, I did that with 4 different colors and I didn't even use transfer tape. I peeled them up off of the vinyl and I laid them down using my hands only, no transfer tape, and tried to cover up all of the crazy wibbly wobbly lines. And I feel like I achieved it. I just feel like I went the mega long way round. I went the long way round and there was really no need for it. And I think this is so impactful, so gorgeous. You could then put vinyl Cricut over the top like 70s Baby or I love the 70s or something like that, or keep them plain just like this. And honestly, this would work in coaster format. This would work in pretty much all formats. Even if you wanted to just use epoxy resin, you pour a white piece with epoxy resin that is white and then lay down your vinyl strips and you've got a 70s t-shirt inspired piece. Everything else didn't work. I honestly just gave up. I am the biggest quitter and this honestly nearly defeated me, but I am glad I finally got something I actually like the look of and kind of fits the brief of the 70s t-shirt. Let me know your thoughts. Honestly, this video was almost completely scrapped, but I just felt like I needed to continue until I found something that inspired me to do more, inspired me to continue. And I think it was Ms., one of my patrons, Ms., who said you need to call this video like Jesmonite almost defeated you. It was something along those lines. So thank you for the title idea for this video, because Ms. is not wrong. She's not wrong. Thank you so much to my patrons for all of your support when I was having a complete meltdown over on my Patreon page about all of the disasters that was going wrong that day. Two lessons. Okay, I am not going to be doing Jesmonite when it's over 18, 19 degrees in my craft room. It's pointless. It feels like it's totally pointless unless it's one big pour. If it's just one big natural Jesmonite pour, real quick, real fast, real easy, then I will do it because it's not going to be a hindrance. But mixing up multiple different colors in Jesmonite, it's not the time. It is not the time. I definitely need some aircon. But let me know your thoughts on this one. I hope you feel inspired in some way, if anything, of what not to do with your Jesmonite AC100. I hope you've enjoyed either way, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.